SoFi is in a crucial spot. After closing at 21.23, we've gotten pushed back down after that retest. So we got that big move up to 25, copying price history as every time we've gotten past that $22 level, we've tested that 25. So we hit that point, but then we get shut down, right? We try to get another movement up, hold a bit lower in a descending fashion, and then we get pushed back between this consolidation zone of that 2073 and that 22. So should we see a little bit of chop back in this range and another explosive move up, trying to retest that previous high as well as that $25 level? Or is this time where sellers find their movement down after being quite overextended? All right, guys, on the weekly, the main thing I like to point out here is that $22 to $25 level. Every time that we've gotten to that level in the past, we've hit that 25. So you see right here when it IPO'd. So if I hit all-time highs of 28, 26, got in a descending range, tested that 25 after breaking through that 22, kind of wicked off once, twice, a bit lower, then flush to the floor. Find some support around that 1390 level and get another move right back up, kind of double topping right at that zone once again, leading us to a longer downtrend and a long-term kind of chop range of 2.5 years. Where price isn't doing too much, build that energy, get that nice move out, see that top of 1845 get formed, form a descending range, and then we hit the bottom of 852, pop out of that, and that is the nice overextended move that we are currently in. Very, very nice here, guys, buyers in that ultimate control. So we said in our past videos, right, we would get that test of 25, that has happened, but now should we expect a retest and a move over that, testing these all-time highs of 28, 26, as in the past, once we hit that level, we flushed twice, and got down in that, longer term descending range. The difference here, though, we're on a very beautiful run up. As once we hit that floor of that 850 level, we're really on a 180-ish% movement to the upside. Buyers just really skyrocketing this thing, and volume is at all-time levels. You see a very obvious ascending profile on the volume there, guys, reaching around those all-time levels. As long as volatility and volume can really pick up here, guys, I do think that we could see a retest of that 25. Weekly looking good here, but we do have to keep in mind seeing that past price history. And so far, price doing exactly what we saw here, right? Getting that obvious wick up at that $25 level. So we're going to analyze the daily to see what we can see and if we should expect a retest or price history is going to repeat itself, finding a little bit of a pullback after this movement. All right, guys, on the daily, we trend to this overextended movement, right? Once we built that descending range, took us a little bit to get out of that, but once we hit that bottom of 850, we get that nice movement up, hold very tightly at the top of that range, as in the past, every time we hit the top of that range, we see very obviously that we get a hard rejection, right? Hit the top, movement from that 1845 all the way down to around that 1480. Try to get that movement up, tap right around that resistance. And we get these volatile shutdowns, right? Price trying to make moves, but very volatile here. And once we get to the top of this range with this retest, first off, reject once again, but we hold higher, get this retest, and instead of rejecting hard, we do hold nice and tight, given that general price action. So we kind of just bleed out of that range, and we go on a very nice ascending profile, very narrow and sharp ascending movement. A little bit of indecision and tight price action while we break out of that, but once we're really fully out of that resistance zone, that being a stubborn resistance for the stock, really see price take off, guys. I mean, this is very good price action. Sellers really in no control. We see once we break out of that zone, 5 green candles in a row here, so I'll try to step in, around 7 green candles right here, getting to this consolidation range of 2070 and 22. It's where we chop around for a bit, very obvious, nice flag and pole like structure, right? Big movement up, forming a pole and a pennant like flag. Forming this flag and pole, right? We do try to break out, hitting that $25 level as we kind of find that bottom 3 days in a row with the sellers in that control, but we get that gap up and continuation all the way to that $25 level. You see when we hit that level, very tall upper wick, meaning there's a lot of selling pressure, which makes sense as we saw in the past. Once we hit that point, really couldn't gain that control and being a very sharp resistance. So same thing here, tap off that level, get shut down, and you see a nice reaction. The buyers do react quite well to that movement down as we hit the floor of 2073. With that momentum, sellers try to find a push down, see that smaller bottom wick. Buyers buy right back up, forming a nice, very solid body, showing that this support level is very strong, and the buyers are very much not letting the stock push it under that support. See a nice little move above that $22 level again, but can't really do too much if you take the drawings off. Once again, very tall wick and kind of forming a descending pattern. That's what we said in the last video, right? We're either going to get a retest of 25 or we're going to get a shorter move up, starting to form a descending pattern. It does exactly that and pushes us back within this consolidation zone. So right now, what you'd expect to see is a little bit more chop before choosing a direction, right? There's definitely a point that we see very strong support here. So if we come back down to the support, Could be chopping around a bit again. Try to make another move out. If that 22 is easy to pass by once again, likely that we try to see another move up, possibly retest that zone that we hit off of around that 2340-ish level, and then try to trend higher. I think it's a very good possibility, as we've seen how strong the support level's been. Try to get pushed under it once. You see that very tall bottom wick, showing that the sellers try to push us down, but the buyers bought it right back up, leading to a nice move to the top of that range. So where you see the seller control, but we stay remaining in this range and that gap up in that nice test of 25. And then that obvious, very nice reaction. And we did come back down to the floor here. You see this small wick right there, showing that the sellers tried to push us under that. But once again, buyers remain strong at the support. So could be ping-ponging around a little bit. See a few more days of price action between that 2070 and that 22. But I think we do get a retest of that 22 once again, seeing if price could get over that. If that reclaims as a hard resistance once again, then you could see a little bit of, retest of that 2070 and possibly try to get below that. But as of right now, I think we are healthier with the buyers. Yes, we got to keep in mind that rejection, as we've seen that every single time. Once price kind of gets to that level, it tries to go higher, hold slightly lower on the weekly like we saw, and then kind of trends downwards. So I think it's very much tough to say if we're going to get a retest and break of that 25 at this point, but I think that we do break through that 22. We do break through that previous high here, and we do try to get up to that 25. Could we hold a little bit lower? It's a possibility, right? If the buyers and volume really surge in here, as we've seen volume at close to all-time high levels, that would aid the movement through that zone. But if price history copies and repeats what it's done in the past, it's likely that we see a break, move up, get to that level, kind of hold lower, and get another shutdown, leading to a little bit of a retracement of this overextended movement. But overall, I think we still look pretty healthy on SoFi, guys. I think there's definitely a chance that we do break through this 25 and start to trend to those all-time highs right around that $28 level. So we still remain bullish on SoFi. Very much back and forth and indecision right now. Volatility is very much in play. See these nice moves up, nice corrections. See the seller strength up top, really rejecting us when we hit that, but also see the buyer strength down below, that support being very, very strong. Each time we try to get under that, buyers react very, very well. So yeah, lots of back and forth going on with the stock, guys, but we do remain slightly bullish as we've seen that very strong movement up. I think we're at a good spot. Lots of indecision here, lots of volatility. If volume can keep ramping in, hitting the buyer move up, I think we could get that retest of 25. But if it's anything like the past history, we've seen that tap. We've seen that tap lower. If we trend backwards to where we really saw that price action, right? We've seen that tap of that 25. The following week, we saw price try to get back up there, hold slightly lower, and we kind of just enter this descending range, doing something very similar, getting to around that high, push down, try to get back up, hold lower, and then another descending range. So possibility that we see a pullback here, but we still are very strong, right? This price action being quite different. This being a break of a major long-term cup and handle. If we zoom out here, that being the cup, this being the handle, and very explosive move since we hit that bottom. So definitely a bit of different price action, much more explosive move than this was or this was. So it doesn't mean we have to copy price action, and we could still be trending to that 28, 26. Definitely a possibility, right? So we'll have to see what happens. The next couple of days of price action will be crucial, as well as the hold of that 2073 support. The support's really held up. So as long as we hold that support and stay within this range, we remain bullish. We look good. All right, guys, on the hourly, we see a better close eye view perspective, right? Got in that range every single time sellers try to get that move in, gain that move to that pullback. Seeing a very nice reaction, right? These being hourly candles. So only 1 hour, try to push it down here. Got back up, test the top of that range. Only 1 hour, really trying to push us down, right? Getting a pretty solid move for the hour. Try to push us around that 1985 level. Buy right back up. Once again, we see that nice gap up and continuation to 25. It's where we get pushed down from that momentum. Sellers try to regain that control overall, push us under this range. Once again, buyers step in exactly when they have to. Very nice reaction and move up. Start this descending like range. Can't hold that and pushed right back to the bottom of the range. But what happens? Once again, sellers try to regain that control. Buyers step back in, holding us within this general range here. So as long as the support holds up, as it seems like it will be holding up, we should be getting another test. Maybe this turns into a real resistance. It's kind of a hypothetical resistance, as we don't have a lot of good data points. We tapped here, but if that is a real resistance, could be topping there, maybe a small pullback and a retest, or we could just be blowing right past that. Retesting that 2376 roughly right around the top of that candle there. If we can break through this 22 hypothetical resistance and that 2375 rough area, definitely should be headed to that retest of 25. And if we could break that, look for those all-time highs, guys. We have pretty much nothing holding us back to that 28, 26. If we do break that 25 nicely, get above it, hold it as support, definitely looking solid. So we remain bullish on SoFi, both in the short term and the long term. Before the bears, guys, we are quite overextended. We see that we tapped around that 25. So I think we do get a retest. We do hold lower though, guys. Be cautious. But I think that 2070-ish support really holding up very nice. Now, let me know your price predictions in the comments below. What do you guys see happening with SoFi? Are we getting that moving down? Are we getting that retest? Are we getting past 25? What do you guys see happening here? And if you guys want to continue seeing SoFi videos, make sure to like and subscribe. And as always, trade smart. I will see you all in the next one.